And so it looks really simple on the screen, but you know, backstage it's absolute chaos, really.
And during that, you just threw in a couple of names that we take as absolute gods, and you just threw them in as just names. Mike Quinn.
There's a couple more, of course. David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly, because Jennifer Connelly at that point was about 16, I think, and you know, she was quite. She was surrounded by this strange stuff of puppets and special effects and guys, and she was very confident. Now she's an Oscar winner, now she's a famous actress, but at that point she was like a beginner, really. And Bowie, of course, was a hero as a rock and roll star and everything, but he was having a lot of fun being a pantomime villain, basically a comedy villain. He's not a scary villain, he's kind of amusing as well. But he was a lovely man, he worked with us every day, and you have to understand with the Muppet people that they always generated a really interesting film set to be on, because it's normally very boring. You normally sit around on a film set doing very little, and then every now and then doing 2 or 3 minutes, and then you wait another hour. So keeping the energy level up is quite hard, and the Muppets work very hard at keeping everyone cheerful and happy. And David always stayed around. He didn't go off and hide in his caravan. He'd stay around and just chat to us and hang about like an ordinary geezer. It was just odd, because every now and then you suddenly realise he's been all around the world, he's world famous, he lives in Switzerland, he's a millionaire, and yet he was just an ordinary guy. You know, I mean, he was very relaxed and chatty to us. So yeah, you can name drop all. It's showbiz. You're working on the same project and you're all equal. It's just strange like that.
Amazing, absolutely. Obviously, puppets is very much what you're synonymous with, and slightly bigger puppets that you came across in the world of Primevil. Your time there, where you was with the dinosaurs, and tell us about what took you along that path, and what adventures you had in it.
Seamless link. Seamless, yeah. Yes, so the CGI puppet, yes, so when I did Primevil, yeah, technology had come into its own as such. And I think, yeah, when we first started, which, God, I actually can't remember what year, I think it might have been 2007. But yeah, you can see very much so how CGI progressed, because over those years, right through to when we finished in 2011, it came on leaps and bounds. So yeah, so I first got involved in the show by auditioning for the show. Didn't quite know what it was going to be, because it was a new show essentially. So what was written on the page was, let's say, ambitious for its time, and there was no guarantee that it would work. So when I first went along, yeah, it was super exciting, but there was, yeah, because there was no guarantee, it was something that amazingly sort of landed, I guess. And that was the beauty of Primevil for me at this point of my life. It was perfectly timed, and yeah, when I was cast, it was a wonderful sort of connection. Everybody sort of very much so got on. I know we always say that in show business, but we actually did, and yeah, everyone was very present, and yeah, it was a very magical time, really. Yeah, things were just sort of slotting into place quite well, and I think that sort of connection that we have came across on screen, which worked very nicely, which I think came across. But yeah, it was, yeah, in terms of CGI, I mean, it was magnificent, because we were essentially just shooting to nothing, and also, you know, from our point of view, this was the first time we had ever done that. I think most people in the cast, it was the first time they'd ever done that, and we're just in woods essentially, and running away to nothing, and yeah, we had no idea. We weren't told what this creature was going to look like or anything. So yeah, it was a magnificent scene all come together, and yeah, brilliantly. It did look great, but yeah, essentially when we were first shooting it, we just had no idea what was it was gonna look like. Yes, so it was a very magical time, because everything did work, and when it went out to air, you know, people really enjoyed it, and yeah, it continued for the next sort of 5 years or so. So yes, that was Primevil.
Fantastic. You didn't even have a dinosaur head on a stick for your focal point.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah, we did. Yeah, we did have a guy, bless him, who had to mimic all these dinosaurs, but you know, and he tried his best, and he did his. And he had a stick with like a tennis ball on the end, and that was our eyeline, and we would just follow this, ball on a stick, and that was our dinosaur. Yeah, so bless him. Yeah, it was a very important role.
Dinosaur Dave.
Yeah.
Job for 5 series.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so Toby, obviously Labyrinth was partway down your film career. There's a whole chapter or 12 prior to that. Do you want to tell us a couple of your anecdotes from travelling across America, hitchhiking?
Oh, yeah, that's a whole lot.
Can we?
That's a whole other story. In the 60s, when I dropped out of school, I wanted to have some adventures. I didn't want to go to university, and I was living in London in 1967. Then I moved to Paris for 6 months. Was selling jewellery in the street. Some guy was making it, and I was running for tourists. And nearly everybody of my age group at that point was going off to India. It was just a thing that hippies went off to India. And me and my French girlfriend decided we were going to do the opposite. We were going to go to America, try and make some money to go to Japan and Australia, and then come, go around the world the other way. Well, we never quite made the whole thing, but we did fly into USA and spent 18 months there hitchhiking around. This does have a point, because at the time I had no idea what I was trying to do. I mean, we made jewellery and sold it. It was when I got to San Francisco, in one of the street markets, I saw this man juggling. And he was juggling rings and jewels and stuff, and making money. And I thought, I never went and spoke to him, but I watched, and I went home and I tried to work out how he was doing it. And I realised that I was spending my day going around buying metal, buying beads, making jewellery, going out and selling it. And he was just turning up with a bag with these things in it, and I'm doing that. That's interesting. So I started to teach myself to juggle. Well, to cut the story short, our visa started running out at the end of the 18 months. We'd been renewing our tourist visa, and we went down to Mexico and spent 6 months in Mexico hiking around. Okay, nobody needed jewelry because they were all quite poor, and handmade jewelry was one thing, but they loved the juggling. And people would just gather around me, and eventually a guy said, "Why aren't you passing the hat for money?" And I went, "Oh, it's just a hobby." No, look, they love it. And he took his hat and he took it round and came back with some coins in it. And I went, okay. So from then on, I became a member of show business. It would never have happened in England, but because it was a way of earning a living in Mexico without actually earning any money. Each time I went to a village, people would invite me to stay at their house, or they'd buy me a meal or whatever, make a little bit of money. I met a circus owner, I met a magician who taught me how to do fire eating. I made a little puppet with a sock, a little snake puppet that spoke bad Spanish, because that's all I could do. But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't have been in show business at all if that hadn't all happened to me. So that 2 years away, when I came back to England, I went, I know what I do. I'm a street performer. Okay, it's November in London, and it's illegal to be a street performer. So I had a rough year or two going down to Covent Garden Market, it's the Veg Market, going down to Portobello Road, which is an antiques market, and literally busking in the streets. And I slowly evolved a little magic act and a bit of fire eating, a little juggling.
And it took off because no one else was doing it. Nowadays, you can go and get a degree in circus. There are street performance conventions, you know, you can go and do a competition in Japan and all that sort of thing. But back then, it was actually just an anarchist on the streets busting a living. And it turned into teaching circus skills, becoming an acrobat. And being an acrobat is how I ended up in films, because my mime teacher, I was doing mask work and stuff, my mime teacher said the Muppets are advertising for people to do these big creatures and they need really flexible, strong people. You don't have to be a puppeteer, you just have to be strong, flexible and, you know, take direction. And I ended up on the Dark Crystal, which led to Star Wars and everything else.
I love that. Absolutely love that.